So I bought these shoes about 5.5 years ago for P90X. These, I believe, are the Nike Free Trainer 5.0, and they may be the Flytrap variation of them, because instead of having the Flyknit running along here, they use this kind of almost like a finger trap looking design. So I just wanted to kind of talk about my impression of these shoes for the 5.5-6 years that I've been using them. So let's first do a quick 360 of the shoe. So this is the outside of the left shoe. So you can see it just has the Nike swoosh is in a sort of glossy plastic, but over time it's kind of gotten a bit scratched up. This material is some sort of synthetic leather. It feels sort of like leather, but I'm almost positive that it's not. So there's the red, black design here, and all of this is sitting on top of some neoprene, which is sitting underneath the kind of finger trap design here. There's this Volt mesh that also is the same color as the neoprene, and it wraps around the shoe. Right here on the back of the shoe, you've got some fuse overlay. You can kind of see it here. It's just on top of this Volt colored mesh. Go around to the back, has a nice pole right here. The swoosh doesn't connect in the back, if you can see there. The two Nike swooshes do not connect, they kind of stop there. They go around. The other side is basically the same. If you look here, you can kind of see what I was talking about, the scratching on the swoosh. I believe this was actually a clear plastic swoosh that they just painted black. I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, but it's definitely like a rubbery plastic material. And going around, then the toe box has this very strange kind of dot diamond pattern going on, except for where your toe, big toe would be. There's these kind of arrows as well running along here, and a small Nike swoosh as well. And on the toe box right here, you can see the Nike Free logo. And earlier I showed you this right here. This is just the Nike Free Trainer logo as well. On the side down here, you've got the Nike Free logo. This is the inside of the shoe. And then over on the outside, you've got the 5.0 indication, which the way Nike Free works is that there was a 7.0, 5.0, 4, 3, and 1.0. So the lower the number, the closer to barefoot feel that you've got, but I don't know if I really believe that. So speaking of the midsole, it also has this kind of really ugly black foam or rubber running along the top portion, and I don't know if this is just painted, if it's all one molded midsole, or if it's glued on. It almost looks like it might just be paint, but it has a bit of a weird texture to it. You can kind of see it in the light here. It's got like some sort of rough texture to it, which is a weird contrast to the Free midsole, which has all these kind of lines cut into it. And from first glance, it might look like all of these lines are cut all the way through, but they're just sculpted on. These bigger ones, those do go all the way through for the most part, except for some portions like here where it's like just a half cut, or like here where it's just a half cut as well. So let's look at the outsole. So the outsole has this pretty nice traction pattern, which works really well for what I use it for, which is, you know, training and exercise. The little kind of nibs here that run all on the green pods, all these volt pods here, have these sort of nibs that really do grip the, you know, exercise mat or flooring that you're using. So they're pretty good at not slipping out. There's also here just the white foam, which also has a kind of a diamond pattern. Parts of the diamond have started to rub off as well. So it's sort of getting flattened out or bottomed out. It's got like a bit of a smooth, it used to be more of a hexagon pattern on all of these, but now it's kind of smoothed out on some of them. It also has this Nike branding here for whatever reason. Now, to be honest, I bought this shoe at an outlet, and just because I didn't know what kind of shoe I needed to get, I was just getting into training back then, so I just figured I would get this shoe. It was cheap. But there are some definite cons to this shoe, and I would like to go over them now. So I think my biggest con for this shoe is that inside the shoe, it doesn't really grip your foot very well. And it's odd because you would think it would, because it has this nice finger trap design. But so you can get locked down here in the front of your foot, which is great. But for the heel, there's just not that much lockdown. So you can, when you're doing jumps or dynamic movement, I would say, your foot tends to, or my foot at least, tends to sort of rock back and forth inside the shoe, which wouldn't be a problem, but like after doing jumping jacks, let's say, in succession, you start to get fatigue on your foot because the foot's kind of rotating inside the shoe itself. So I wish that there was a bit more lockdown in the heel area or ankle area of the shoe. Let's see. Another con about this shoe is actually one of the major selling points of it, and that is here, the outsole. And what I mean by being a con is that for me, my exercises, I use resistance bands. And if you've ever used a resistance band, you know that the band has to sit under your foot when you're doing something like a deadlift or some sort of regular weightlifting. And the problem is that the band gets caught in these grooves here. And I've actually lost one of my exercise bands or resistance bands due to these grooves because they actually cut into the resistance band. So I had one snap on me during an exercise because it had gotten caught between the groove here. So they slip into here, and when you pull up, it gets caught and it pinches right here. So that caused some damage to some of my resistance bands. So that's about it for cons. I mean, really, they were cheap, so I can't knock the materials. I mean, I haven't gotten very much ripping wise. There's a little bit of like fuzz and stuff that comes out every now and then from the shoes grinding against each other. Here's the right shoe. It's basically got the same wear and tear. You know, you've got the Nike logo there with some damage. Bottoms, just about the same. You know, a little bit of exercise mat rubbing off onto it, but essentially the same sort of damage has been taken. The toe boxes are noticeably creased. I would like to say some pros about this shoe because they're not completely negative. Obviously, if I hated them, I wouldn't have used them for 6 years, but I would say the pro would be that the main reason why I bought them, actually, I guess, one of the main reasons is that I just thought they looked so outlandish with this crazy like lattice design in the red, black, and green. Personally, my favorite colors are red and black. I don't really like Volt or green at all to begin with, but I just thought it looked so strange that I thought I would, just get them because no one's going to see you wearing them when you're exercising anyway. If you exercise in your home at least. And the other thing is, I do personally, at that time, I really liked the idea of Nike Free. I liked the whole, exercising barefoot. That whole idea seemed very unique to me. I've kind of gotten over that. Like, I don't really think it's that fantastic or as fantastic since I've gone through a few pairs of Nike Free shoes now. For training, I don't know that I could recommend a pair of Nike Free trainers for training, just because, like I had mentioned, the whole resistance band problem. I think you'd be better off getting a pair of shoes that has a lot less cuts in the bottom. The other thing too, like I mentioned, lockdown's not great, but I will say they're, for the most part, they're pretty comfortable. Anyways, that has been my kind of overview for what I believe are called the Nike Free Trainer 5.0, either fly trap or finger trap. I'll have to look that one up. But anyways, thank you for not watching.